Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Metacast podcast. It's the podcast about itself, ourselves, and the self in general. My name is Ty, and I'm going to be your host, and as always, got my awesome co-host, Distance, over there. And tonight, we are going to teach you how to ruin your life. We're going to give you the best advice possible at completely fucking everything up. Which we're both a little bit experts in this, right? Like I'm a pretty good fuck up.
I'm pretty good at it. I think a lot of us are, but I don't think that very many people have truly applied themselves.
Oh yeah. See, that's the thing is I think a lot of people fucking up just kind of happens almost like as an accident or happenstance. Like I don't know how many people actually put an honest effort into fucking things up. And hopefully we can change that tonight.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we can motivate someone to truly fuck up their life in the most meaningful way possible.
All right. Well, I've got a good piece of advice that I would want to start with.
Okay.
I think a great thing to do is open as many credit cards as possible and keep them maxed out. Whenever one of them max out, just go get another one. It's free money. You don't actually have to pay that shit back. It's just like every time you get approved for one, that's an extra $5,000, however much of a limit they give you. That's just completely free money. I think that's a cheat code for real life that most people don't realize. There are infinite money cheats out there. It's like Rosebud in The Sims. You keep getting more and more money. It's great.
Actually, that's a really good way to do it. And I think that if you have some money laying around to make a payment, you need to make sure that after you make that payment, you spend whatever is available after the payment.
Oh, of course.
On the credit card.
Because yeah.
You don't want to let that free money go to waste.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's sitting there not maxed out, that's like a potential that you're not using.
It's true. And you need to be able to fulfill every bit of potential when you're trying to fuck up your life.
And I'm pretty sure if you try hard enough, you can actually find ways to make payments on one credit card with another credit card and just juggle.
You could take out a loan that was big enough to pay for all the credit cards, pay them all off, pay off the credit cards, never pay the loan you used to pay them off, and then max out the credit cards again.
Yep. Even
more money.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like that's a big thing that a lot of people are just kind of leaving on the table is there is an almost infinite access to funds that's just out there and ready for ripe for the taking.
Yeah. And but the thing is also like if you can get to these funds, why work?
Well, that's exactly.
Like
I think
quit your job. Just, who cares? Just pay for everything with the free money you're getting from the credit cards. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's actually a really good point. I've dabbled in fucking up. But that's like an expert move. That's hardcore fucking up that I have not actually gotten to yet. Wow. I feel like it's a level of ruining your life to strive to. Oh yeah.
Admittedly,
I'm a hypocrite. I haven't actually tried that hard, but maybe after this I can actually get to the point where I can muster up the strength and the tenacity to ruin my life that badly. Also you need to so I guess the other aspect, like relationships. So so you don't necessarily have to leave your partner. If your partner is abusive and resentful, then you need to make sure that you keep them around. But you don't want to have somebody that's like, supportive and understanding and stuff like that. If you have a supporting, understanding partner, understanding partner, you need to leave immediately. Yeah, that's a waste of your time. Right. That might make your life better. And we can't have that.
Exactly. Well, exactly. Yeah.
We're trying to ruin things here, not make them better. Who does that?
And I think on the other side of that too, if you are just bored with your partner or, maybe you're getting sick of the lack of variety. You've only slept with one person in a few years. You don't really need to tell them anything about that. You can just feel free to go and sleep with other people. As long as they don't know, it's fine. What they don't know doesn't hurt them.
It's true. Like it's better for them if they don't know, but it's better for you if you sleep with someone that's not them. So it's good for everyone. It's a win-win, obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're right. They really don't need to know.
You don't even need to use any sort of like protection when you're going out and sleeping with other people. I think that's completely overrated. Like condoms and birth control and things like that. Those are not things you want to take part in. It's all a scam.
Right. If you want to truly fulfill your potential, you need to make sure that you don't. You want to make sure you don't completely eliminate the possibility of sexually transmitted disease or unwanted pregnancy.
Mm-hmm. Well, because as a man, if the woman has an unwanted, like that's not my problem. I don't have to like take care of that kid and be around for it. Like that's
So if you happen to get someone pregnant, which I mean, who cares? If you happen to get someone pregnant, then you just never. It doesn't matter.
That's actually next level too, because you could end up fucking up that kid's life too with your actions and like get two birds with one stone.
Right. And then they don't even have to try. Like you've already finished the job for them. And their life is already at least partially ruined from the beginning. I mean, they might make it better later, but that just means they're not trying hard enough, and they should really try to nail down on how to truly mess up.
You could send them this episode and really just try to give them as many.
Or if you're willing, you could use one of those credit cards to pay for an abortion.
True. Yeah. It's free money.
Works out great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you could actually go to a place where they're cheap, and then you won't use as much of your free credit card money to pay for that.
Just don't go to Alabama.
Alabama.
Okay, yeah. That was a topical political joke. They outlawed abortions.
Can't get them cheap. They're also, you should never pay attention to what's happening in current events.
Yeah.
That's another. So you can tell that Ty is failing at this already because he knows about something that's happening somewhere else. Who cares about anything outside of your life, honestly? I mean, what benefit is that? It's like, whatever.
It's not. I'm already I'm doing things wrong.
Because if you look anywhere outside of your own life, you might learn something that will stop you from ruining your own life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and if you should never ever vote ever. Don't do that. That's something you should avoid also.
There's you touched near another good one too. Education is completely worthless. I would say if you're in school or doing anything to like better yourself or learn, just drop out of that as quickly as possible.
Right. And don't read any books.
Yeah.
Well, you can read porn.
How do you read porn?
Exactly. I was just like kind of like a loophole.
You read the subtitles? I don't understand.
If someone wants to stop you from ruining your life, you can just come back and say, I read this magazine.
All right, that's fair. Okay.
And if they don't know, like they might not know that you can't actually read it. So then that way they won't hinder you in the effort that you're putting into like, messing things up badly.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that if you So back to the sort of the relationship thing, like in your relationship with your abusive, resentful partner, you need to make sure that you never communicate with that person openly about anything.
Oh yeah. That's like a direct line to things going well. That's not what you want to happen.
Just let it take care of itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think if there's ever any sort of issue that you have, it's not worth bringing it up with them directly and trying to talk about it. That's not going to go in the way that you want it to.
Yeah, of course. And the best way to get your point across is a little thing I like to call the silent treatment.
Yes.
That works wonders.
Yeah.
To keep your relationship resentful. Which is exactly what we're looking for.
Exactly. You want to let that animosity build up under the surface just as much as possible. You don't ever want to like directly confront the issue whatsoever. Yeah,
because I mean, like we're adults here.
Yeah.
Why would adults do that?
Adults that are trying to fuck their lives up. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So if you happen to decide to be around the minimal amount of time in the lives of your kids, you need to make sure that if you have a female child, that child is to be hopelessly dependent upon everyone around them all the time. You need to make sure you do everything for that child. And male children can't cry. If they cry, you need to smack them around a little bit.
Yes.
Tell them to toughen up.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And and if they do anything dumb or hurt another person, boys will be boys.
Well, I think that's another thing too, is just, I mean, you want to beat them as much as possible, really. I mean, you know, there may be laws against that, but laws are just weak suggestions. I think laws are for people that are not trying to fuck their lives up. You can pretty much disregard any law in the country that you live in.
Yeah, because if you want to really fulfill like all the potential that's there for ruining your life, breaking laws is really, really good.
However, there is one downside of that though. If you get sent to prison, your options for fucking your life up get taken away from you. You know, you lose a lot of your freedom to fuck your life up there. So you don't want to go to that extreme, or it's almost like it's the end of the game. You know, you've reached a pinnacle of fucking your life up where they cap you.
It's true. Yeah, that can't be, because you don't have the freedom that you require, right, to get to where you need to get in ruining your life. Also, terms of service rules on streaming platforms, disregard those too.
Yeah.
We might need to reread these rules.
Yeah. That would no, you definitely want to follow TOS.
Okay, yeah, do that. Definitely do that. Because then you can't help other people fuck up their lives by broadcasting.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That one I just wanted to cover my own ass. That Twitch didn't like.
But I didn't think about that though. Like, if you go to prison, there really is a lot that you can't do to fuck up your life. Because I mean, you could. Yeah, I mean, they take care of a lot of stuff for you. I mean, many things are not so great there, but it's like. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. We need the freedom to be able to do everything we can to do the maximal amount of screwing up.
Yep. Yeah, that pretty much, like I said, like that puts an end to what you're able to do. Which, I mean, a lot of people, I guess, could consider that to be like a completely fucked up life at that point. But I think that there's more in us than that. I think you can do better than that. You don't need to stop at just prison. Yeah.
The thing about prison is that for many crimes, eventually you're going to get out.
True. Yeah.
So your life couldn't possibly be that messed up. Also, taxes are for losers. Never pay those.
Yeah, you don't need to pay those whatsoever.
Yeah, that's for like no. Just don't. I'm just gonna leave that right there. Just don't pay them. Yeah. I don't need to justify that. Everybody knows you don't need to pay taxes.
Well, there's good literature out there that just explains to you that the income tax is completely it's unconstitutional. There's no part in the Constitution that makes you have to pay that. Just read what Wesley Snipes was reading and follow what he did.
MC Hammer. There's a lot of people that have given really good examples on this.
Oh yeah.
And also if somehow you find yourself with a lot of money, which shouldn't be happening. If you're really trying to ruin your life, make sure you let someone else manage that and don't pay any attention to what's happening with it.
And you want to spend as much of it as possible without any regard for future financial obligations that you may have. Like, you don't want anything like a savings account or investments or anything like that. Right. You want all of it liquid and just ready to be spent.
Yeah, on whatever you want to spend it on. I mean, who cares? Especially make sure you always buy things like cars and guitars and bicycles and computers. These things are depreciating assets.
Yes.
So when you put money into them, you'll actually lose money, which is a good thing because the money was free anyway because you purchased all of it with credit.
Side note, have you ever seen the movie Brewster's Millions?
No.
With it's a Richard Pryor movie, and basically I
love Richard Pryor.
He's like part of this game where this guy dies and basically is gonna leave him like $40 million, but which, I mean, this is like 1980 some money or 1970s money, so that's a lot more than it sounds like today. But the thing is, like, he only gets access to the 40 some million if he can spend this 4 million and have nothing to show for it at the end of a week. So he has to like think of ways to like just waste this money without actually getting assets out of it, just literally blowing through it. It's an interesting like thought movie. Like, it's kind of funny, but But yeah, so you really like you could watch that movie for a lot of ideas as to ways you could spend your money and end up with what you're looking for here.
Yeah, of course. And it's always best when you purchase any large items, never make a down payment ever. And if you have a car or something like that, make sure you trade it in as often as possible.
Yes.
Regardless of negative equity. Until your credit score reduces to the point where you've really triumphed in the ruining of your own life, and then it won't matter anyway because no one will give you a loan.
Yeah, true.
Especially without a down payment. But for the time that you can, make sure you don't make down payments on anything if you can avoid it. But it's like because I mean, think about it though, like on the savings and all that retirement crap or whatever. If you do a good enough job, you're not going to live long enough anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. You'd just be saving it for who that kid you didn't pay attention to at that. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a waste.
They don't matter. It doesn't matter. The kid doesn't matter. On the subject of not living long enough, you need to make sure you do as many drugs as you can simultaneously as often as you can.
Yes. Drink like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Nothing washes down some Vicodin like a bottle of vodka. It tastes great. So
I've just realized like how many of these moments can be clipped out of context and just sound so horrible. Like this is
entirely possible that we might get canceled.
Yeah.
This could also, if you have a podcast, make sure you do everything you can to get it canceled.
Yeah.
Because like if you've done enough of a good job in getting the word out there on how to fuck up your life, then other people will have all that they need to spread the word, and then you can get canceled. Because if you don't, then you might be successful, and we can't have that happening.
Exactly.
The only success you should have is getting as high and as drunk as humanly possible on whatever you can get a hold of.
I would say if you were to like have any sort of podcast or a broadcast show, anything, and you decided to do an episode like this, make sure you did not at all put any sort of disclaimer at the beginning. Just throw all of this out there as legit advice and make it sound as authentic as possible. That's a great thing to do.
Keep in mind that you want to make sure no one understands that you're being satirical. You don't want anyone to know that.
Yep.
Oh, and also on the if you can't get drugs, smoke cigarettes. Lots of cigarettes.
Definitely, yeah. I would say also completely stop drinking water. Your body doesn't need it. Like soda has water in it. Just drink nothing but soda. Start with Mountain Dew, move on to the even more sugary stuff.
Right. I mean, your body is already mostly water anyway, so you'll be fine. You've got plenty of it already.
Hey, Big Dog in 79 the Big Dog 79 in chat is asking, I'm joining late. What the hell are you guys talking about? The title of this week's episode is How to Ruin Your Life. We are trying to give the worst advice possible. So if you have any ideas, you can feel free to throw them out there.
Yeah, what you can add, anything you want. We've already talked about relationships and how you need to not be in one if it's healthy. We talked about lots of drug use, getting in to a lot of debt, using the free money for credit cards, paying off those credit cards with loans, making sure that we only purchase depreciating assets. I mean, we've really hit them all. Oh, also, wait. There's one thing we missed here.
What's that?
Make sure you never communicate with any member of your family.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just completely cut them off.
Right. Especially your parents, because all they did was make all these stupid rules when you were younger to try to stop you from ruining your life.
Yeah.
Which is not what we're looking to do.
Yeah, they were like a big reason why you had to wait 16 to 18 years to start ruining your life. They kept you from doing that. Yeah.
That's an entire 18 years you could have really been screwing shit up.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and it's like fine, you made bad grades anyway and didn't really care. But there's still the fact that they tried to push you in this direction of being like successful or contributing in some way.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you never listen to anyone.
Oh, except for us. We have the only good advice.
Right. Listen to us.
Yeah.
But you know better than everyone else except for us. Because here's the thing that you need to realize about other people. They don't know anything about you, and someone who's in their 60s didn't have to be your age to get to their 60s.
Exactly.
It's entirely possible they skipped over it.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good, like, just like you brought up earlier about the retirement being a scam because you're not gonna reach that age if you do this correctly. Anyone, that's a great point. Anyone that is older than the age of 35 or so, they've lived too long to have fucked up their life well enough.
Yeah.
You don't want to take advice from them.
They don't know what they're talking about at all. So it looks like we've got a comment in chat here. Alienating from everyone that matters. Yeah. Start with your family, of course. And then just move on from there. In fact, complete isolation is the best. You're better than other people. You don't need any kind of socializing with anyone else.
I would argue though. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I would just say I would argue though that just like when you end up in prison, alienating yourself it like diminishes your ability to fuck things up. You can fuck things up better with other people around because of the negative relationships you could have and things. So you do want to alienate yourself from any good influences, but you need people around to be able to fuck things up maximally.
Sure. You know what? I totally screwed this up. So look, you can keep your family around as long as you have unhealthy relationships with those family members.
Yes, correct.
But the thing is if they want to constantly communicate with you openly and acknowledge feelings and resolve conflict, you need them out of your life as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to help anything. They're just gonna try to steer you in this direction of healthy communication, and they'll probably want what's best for you, and that's not what we're looking for here.
Yeah, that's not the goal.
Yeah, but if you got family members that if they do all the drugs and drink all the alcohol, they're drunk all the time. If they're like they've missed every child support payment ever, then keep them around.
Yeah.
But what we don't want is supportive family members that openly communicate. So here's where I'm going to go with this one, I think, Ty.
Okay.
Alienate yourself from other people that might stop you from ruining your life.
Yes.
But keep the ones in your life that will help you, because we need to keep those people in our life. Oh, dude, gambling.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Big Dog's right. Yeah.
Thank you.
So you can get cash advances from your credit cards that you're using with the free money. So get the cash advances and go out there and gamble.
Yeah.
But play slot machines. Don't play craps, because if you understand what you're doing in craps, you can actually end up winning the majority of the time. You want to stick to slot machines. You have to know what you're doing, though. And
what about like poker and blackjack?
Well, see, the problem with poker is that you could accidentally end up winning. Okay. Look,
yeah.
Poker and blackjack are fine as long as if you win money, you spend that money on alcohol or drugs.
Yeah, or continue to gamble. You can always like reinvest your earnings in the activity itself too, right?
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, you reinvest and then you put more money up, because logically, if you won when you bet $1,000, you're going to win more if you bet $2,000.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's sound, right? That makes sense.
That's just basic math. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's what we do here. We do math and we do science. We science all the time on this podcast.
So another big one, we moved past when we started to get into the physical things. I would say you don't ever want to care about the nutrition you're putting in your body.
Oh, right. Yeah. Just eat whatever tastes good.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and it doesn't matter because I mean, like, who wants to eat like quinoa and chicken all day? That's gross.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Like some people say like, oh, this is a cheat meal. Well, who cares? Like, if you don't need to cheat if you just eat what you want all the time.
Every day is cheat day. Exactly.
Yeah. And, you'll get off cheaper if you eat, fast food constantly, like all the time. And you don't need to learn how to cook.
No.
That doesn't matter. It's much easier, much better if you just let someone else cook the food, preferably deep fried, because I mean, who doesn't like that?
Oh yeah, breaded and deep fried is pretty much, if you can deep fry bread, that should probably be a staple of your diet. Like deep fried Twinkies or things like that. Like deep fried carbs with extra sugar, that's really the way to go.
And put sugar on as much as you want to, because I mean, who cares? You know, like it tastes good. You know, it feels nice. Everybody likes sugar. So, you know, or I mean, yeah, or just don't even worry about it. Like, you don't need to know what's in the food you're eating.
True. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Like, paying attention to the contents is probably like too much already, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're already going toward the road of improvement if you have some idea of what's in it, and that's not what we're looking for here. Yeah. And also, exercise. Terrible idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, I mean, the only exercise you need is lifting the remote control and swiping your credit card. That is it. That's the only exercise you need. Or typing in your credit card number. Or, you know, better yet, just get PayPal so you don't even have to worry about it.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
And you know, like, you want to make sure that that if you do drink or use drugs, you need to use heavy machinery after that, just for fun.
Yeah, there's a really fun game you can play. You try to get yourself as drunk as possible. Ideally, to drive the car, you want to be like have to keep one eye shut. If you can drive with both eyes open, that's you're not drunk enough yet.
Yeah, if you can walk to the car, you shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, that's a good one. So what about you kind of touched on it for a second there, bringing up the remote. I would say you want to watch TV as much as possible, but avoid any sort of programs or content that is educational, of course. Right. You know, like reality TV, things like that is what you want to go with.
Yeah, nothing informative. I mean, honestly, a Dwayne Johnson film is too intellectual.
Probably, yeah.
We want to stay away from that. Dwayne Johnson even is too cerebral for us. I mean, we don't. Yeah, you want to make sure that it's mostly reality TV, and you want to make sure that the reality TV you're watching, that the people on there are working just as hard as you are at ruining their life.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, that's a great point.
You want to learn from the example of the reality stars that are making the same effort to fuck everything up as you are.
Oh shit, yeah, we need to amend what we said earlier. That there's a whole another source of inspiration there. So you don't want to listen to anyone but us and many reality stars. I think they're going to be a good source of information too.
You're right. So so you want to you agreed. Yeah, we want to listen to them too, because they understand just as well as we do how to fuck up your life. And there's no need, like, seriously, like, I don't even think that even like walking briskly is too much exercise.
Yeah. I would say go ahead and get like a hover round. You've got the free money on the credit cards. Go ahead and get some sort of hover round or rascal scooter that you can just ride that around. Or
a Segway.
Yeah.
Because you'll go into even more debt with one of those.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that's what we're looking for. We want to make sure that as often as possible, we spend money that we don't have.
Yes. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what are the like objective markers we could use here? Because like the debt idea, that just sparked an idea for me. Like I'm trying to look at this. I mean, you know, with my rampant obsession with video games, I kind of see a lot of things as games, right? So how do you gamify this? What's the highest score you could get in fucking yourself up? Debt is a good one. You want to be in as much debt as possible. Are there any other like actual like numbers we could put to this?
We want to go for at least $30,000 in debt to begin with.
Okay.
We want to see if we can hit 6 figures of debt before we're unable to get credit anymore. Actually, if no one will give you credit, that's another good marker.
That is, yeah. Which a good way to do that. So you could take out the student loans, but just don't ever go to any of the classes. You don't want to learn anything from classes, but college is a great way to get into a lot of debt as long as you completely avoid the education that they're going to try to give you.
And you could probably get financial aid and spend that money on drugs and alcohol.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's the best way to do it.
Yes.
But that's, it's, that kind of goes against the spending money that you don't have. But at the point you get to where no one's going to give you credit, financial aid is actually pretty easy to get. So you can say whatever you need to on the forms to make that happen. I think that the fewer friendships you have that are healthy, the better.
Well, obviously, yeah. You want to stay clear of anything with the word health or healthy attached to it. When it comes to food, activities, relationships, that word is a clear marker that you're going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure that you feel like crap every morning.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think the incessant drinking will help with that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a clear marker that you're doing enough of the drugs and the alcohol, and you're eating enough things that just taste good with no regard for what's in them. That should be, and the lack of exercise. That right there, feeling like crap every morning, and actually for most of the day. Now that I think about it, that's one of the best markers that you are really ruining the health part of your life.
Yes.
Which is a very important part of this process. Because remember, we don't need to live long enough to retire.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say if you
gotta make that a goal.
If you've made it through an entire waking period of the day without needing a nap, you're doing something wrong. You need to be continually exhausted and feeling like you're saying as shitty as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. So playing video games with some kind of temperance and like watching how often you're playing and scheduling it, that's a bad idea. We want to use the video games to stay up as late as possible to make sure that we're that's going to aid in our lack of sleep.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So, and another thing you really want to avoid is balance. Make sure everything is as unbalanced as possible.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Another big one, whenever we were talking about, I'm throwing my pen around, when we were talking about physical things, I think hygiene is a great area where you can really fuck up. You don't really ever need to brush your teeth or shower or anything like that, or wash clothes or your sheets or anything really. Cleaning is an activity you should not even consider.
That's true. I mean, that is time you could spend watching reality TV. Or smoking cigarettes while watching reality TV. Because you don't have time for that kind of crap. I mean, hygiene's trivial anyway. And you want to make sure that you don't want to have a primary care physician or a dentist or any of that stuff, because that's going to completely go against the whole goal. Like you can't ruin your life if you have someone constantly nagging you, telling you to do stuff that's good for you, because we want to avoid the word health or healthy, right?
Exactly. Well, yeah, because I was going to point out that those are good sources of debt, but it, like you're saying though, it's going to be a bad influence. They're going to try to push you in a direction that we're not trying to go.
Yeah, because the debt is a good part of this process, but we want to, like you said, we want to avoid the fact that this could make our lives better. Also, having a pet, terrible idea.
Yeah.
Having pets is just bad. I mean, well, you can have pets as long as you don't take care of them.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say you want to avoid pretty much any commitment you can, or I mean, if you make a commitment, you don't need to honor it.
Right.
It's
like commitments, any and all kinds of responsibility need to be avoided. And if like you said, I mean, if any of that's forced upon you, just ignore it. Who cares? Yeah. Just it's gonna Yeah, it's not gonna help at all.
No, exactly. It's gonna go completely against what we're trying to do here.
So what else are we thinking here? Are we missing anything here?
Well, I've got one where I'm trying to explore, I guess, the best way to do this. So you want to make sure that if there's something that you want to do in life, like if you have it like a sort of like an aspiration, you should go for it 100% with nothing to fall back on. I would say, if you've got the dream of being a rock star, you go for it, and you don't need to worry about, any safety net or anything to fall back on. You just put 100% of yourself into that, and that's it.
I mean, think about how many rock stars tell you that there was no plan B.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, do you have any idea how much it increases the amount of free drugs and alcohol you can use when you get to a point like that?
Oh well, shit. What happens if you are actually successful, though?
Oh.
That's a catch-22 there.
You need.
It's unlikely, but it could actually happen. So how do you fuck that up? Let's say you do accidentally stumble across some success. How can you immediately fuck that up?
You need to make an unpopular statement on social media.
Oh, that's a great one. Yes, you should.
That'll ruin everything. It doesn't matter what statement it is. Just make sure it's one that most people don't like, that you'll get shamed for.
Yes.
And you'll lose any kind of success you ever could have possibly had.
That is great. Make sure when you're doing your drugs, alcohol, make sure Ambien is mixed in with that, and tweet as much as possible while on Ambien. I think that's a great idea.
Always make sure that your smartphone that you paid for with a credit card is charged completely before you begin your drug and alcohol use.
Yes.
So you can be certain that anything you say will be the worst decision with the worst judgment possible.
And that smartphone should always be the newest generation. As soon as a new one comes out, you need to smash that one and buy the next one with your free money credit cards.
The very moment it happens, and you need to make sure that you are on Facebook or Twitter or playing Candy Crush as often as possible, because this is time that you could be doing something beneficial to improve your quality of life. But instead you should be playing, games on your phone or on Facebook. And you need to make sure that you get in as many arguments on social networking websites as humanly possible.
Yes. Yeah. You've really got the possibility of changing people's mind there. Yeah.
Don't accept anyone that even seems a little bit different than you. Like no matter what way they seem different, there's clearly something wrong with them because they're not the same as you.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's a great lesson. Yeah. So what are the broad categories here? I mean, we've talked on things to do physically, things to do financially. I feel like with relationships, of course, what are we missing as like another big category? What else is there to life?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what else we could screw up. I mean, we already said not to read books, right? That's gonna, that might make you learn something. Education, we already talked about that.
What if there's a book on how to fuck your life up? Is that worth reading?
There's a book by Ben Stein called How to Ruin Your Life.
Is there really?
Yes.
That's kind of funny. I didn't know that. I should have stumbled across that in my research for this episode.
But you did research?
I mean, a little bit,
What are you doing with your life?
Shit.
Dude, you could have learned something doing research. In fact, you probably did.
See, but that's the catch-22 though. To maximize your ability to fuck things up, you kind of need to learn how to fuck things up the best, right? So there is I would say there is like a little bit of a benefit to learning some things up until a certain point. Like if you're learning how to ruin your life, that's only expanding your possibility of ruining your life.
Well, but here's the problem though. If you read something about ruining your life, you might figure out how not to ruin your life by figuring out the best way to ruin your life.
So are you saying that like if you're learning the best ways to ruin your life, it may be a list of things you should actually avoid?
If you're watching this, turn it off right now.
No.
If you're listening, hit pause. No, because we might teach them what not to do by telling them what to do to ruin their life.
I know. I'm just laughing at how
to ruin your life.
I'm just laughing at how bad we are at like having a podcast or shit. Like literally telling what viewers we may have. Be like, stop watching now.
Well, no, because if you're trying to ruin your life, you might figure out like what not to do by us telling you what to do to ruin it.
Yeah,
and that's what we're looking for here.
True. Yeah. I mean, a lot of the best way to ruin your life, I think, would be following, like we talked about with food, following those gut instincts without actually thinking about things. You just do what feels good, do the easiest thing always. You never want to do something that seems difficult or challenging. You always want to do the simplest, easiest path, right?
Yeah, because if you do something that's difficult, then you might gain some kind of strength or like tenacity or whatever from it. And we don't want that. We want to avoid good traits. I mean, even eating too much food is a challenge if you're trying to push yourself. And we don't want to have any reason to be proud of anything that we've done.
Correct. Yeah. If at the end of a short life, there's absolutely nothing that you could think back and be happy or proud about, you've done this right.
Yeah, you've ruined your life in the best way possible, and you have nothing to be proud of.
Ooh, that's one of the big ones. Yeah, you want to make sure you leave the world a worse place than you found it.
Yeah, because if you want, not only do you want to fuck up your life, you want to fuck up everyone else's life around you. You need to make sure that you are negative. Like to the few people that you allow into your life, you need to make sure that you are as negative and discouraging as humanly possible.
Not even just those few people. What can you do to maximize being a negative experience for like almost the world at large? Like pollute as much as possible, like just burn any sort of trash or styrofoam you have. I would say things like that are important,
especially styrofoam.
Yeah.
You know, if you never recycle anything ever. If you feel like just throwing something out of your window in your car that you paid for with money that you don't have, just do it. It's fine.
Yes, littering's a great one. Yeah,
it's a great idea. Yeah. And you'll be breaking laws too.
Exactly.
Which is something that we want to avoid.
Getting two birds stoned at once.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing: you don't want to get caught breaking laws, because if you do, you may end up in prison, which, as we've already established, is going to lessen your ability to fuck up your life, because you won't have as much freedom to do the things you need to do to make your life as meaningless as possible. In fact, you should actually always acknowledge how meaningless everything is.
Yes.
I mean, nothing matters, because you're going to die. Everyone you know is going to die. And I mean, hopefully if you do this right, you'll die soon enough to where that retirement fund you don't have won't matter.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say taking the most nihilistic approach possible to almost everything would be a great way to do things.
Yeah. And, you know, you need to also make sure that you are as manipulative as possible to all the people around you, because that will help in the process of alienating yourself to some degree. Oh, but you know, now that I think about it, like if you don't, you need to make sure you keep bringing people into your life. So, and being as negative as possible to make sure that you fulfill the goal of making the world much worse because of the fact that you were here.
Exactly. Yeah. There's kind of a fine line you need to ride between a lot of these things, because it's like with the prison thing. You want to break as many laws as possible up to a certain point without going past it. So there is a way to min-max this. There's a right way to do things wrong.
There is. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that, you know, if at some point you feel like your well-being is increasing because a specific person is around, it's not worth any type of contentness or happiness with that person. Even though you could be as negative as possible and help make the world worse by being in that person's life, it's not worth the contentment or happiness that you might feel.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you want to get rid of that immediately, because they might actually make you a more content, better human. And it matters more to not have those feelings than it does. Am I even making sense right now? To fuck up the world a little bit more. Yeah.
No,
like
exactly.
I just talked in a circle.
That's another. Yeah, talk in circles. That's try to confuse as many people as possible.
Communicate badly.
Yes, I think that's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll give you an example. You know, if you want to say things like, whether or not there's a benefit to the beneficial things that exist in the world that matters around the individuals that are feeling it in the most ethereal and existential fashion possible. You need to be certain that there is a amount of things to be where they are, whether or not we're talking about thinking at all.
Do what now?
It's just words. You just throw them out there.
Yeah.
You just put them together, and then it just works.
Yes. I thought that was a Donald Trump speech, actually.
Obviously, obviously, the silent treatment is the best.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you need to communicate, make sure you do it badly. It's so important.
Yeah.
So important.
You want to make a great use of mixed signals with people. If you get to the position where you have to tell them something directly and make sense, you want to make sure that you contradict that with as many other actions or other things you say.
Right, like preferably if you can contradict what you just said in the next 2 sentences, that would be ideal.
Yes.
I mean, the next sentence would be even better.
Yeah. We can't all be perfect. So the next 2 sentences is a good thing to search or aim for. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm thinking like, what else can we hit here? I mean, I think we've really done. We talked about reality TV. We talked about excessive video games. We haven't talked about porn. You need to watch a lot of porn.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you need to watch as much of it as possible.
If you're not watching reality TV, it should be porn. Yeah.
Yep, it's either ruining the world on social networking, watching reality TV, or watching porn.
Yep.
I mean, or playing the most ridiculous video game you can get a hold of. You should just buy an Atari with your credit card and purchase the ET game.
That's a great one. Game. I would suggest people start playing World of Warcraft. I think that is a great way to ruin your life. Yeah, Speaking from experience, that game can do it. That game can accomplish many things for you.
Yeah, it'll make it a lot easier for you to alienate the people around you.
Oh yeah,
by spending as much time. But but here's the thing though, you don't need to join a guild in World of Warcraft because you can do this shit on your own.
True. Yeah.
Because you might actually start like socializing with these people, and because you have to. They're gonna force you to communicate in an effective fashion if you're in like a guild with them.
Exactly.
So even if you play World of Warcraft, you need to make sure that you do it solo, because you don't want to have too much social interaction with people.
Exactly. Yeah. I think and just like Big Dog said in chat a second ago, the social interaction, especially, you just be sure you never say what you mean. If you are forced into social interaction, like we were talking about, you want to be as misleading and confusing as possible. You don't want to be backed into a corner where you're actually like saying what you actually mean.
Right. Like if someone asks you if there's something wrong, no matter what, the answer is nothing.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yes.
And you ask them the question, why would there be something wrong with me? And if what they say is the exact reason why there's something wrong, you still need to say, no, there's nothing wrong.
That sounds like almost a little from experience. That sounds personal. If someone asks you where you want to go to eat, you say, I don't care.
And if they name a place, you tell them you don't want to go there.
Yeah. Not there.
But then if they ask where you want to go again, you tell them you don't care.
Yeah, anywhere. I don't care.
Right. And no matter what they name, you tell them you don't want to be there. But every time they ask, make sure you say you don't care. And if you happen to get to a place, even if you like the food, complain the whole time you're there.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Actually, if you like it, say you hate it, because that'll be the exact opposite of what you mean.
Oh, and another great one. Even though you have access to basically infinite money, don't ever tip if you go out to eat. That's a horrible. Not. Yeah. Or if you order food for delivery or anything, you never want to tip. That's just that's a waste of money.
always be rude to people in any kind of service role.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Well, I mean, you want to be rude to people across the board, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to be more rude to people that you can get away with it with.
Yes. Yeah. Especially if you're in that position of power where they excuse me, they have to be nice to you because their well-being depends on it. Oh yeah. You can abuse that.
I mean, they're the dumbasses that decided to get a job.
Mm-hmm. They must not know about the credit card thing.
Clearly they don't know about the credit card.
Yeah.
We should have tried harder.
You could teach them. That's another way to just spread the message. You know, you can make the world a worse place just by making sure as many people as possible learn about the credit card trick.
You should let them know, like, have you heard about this credit card thing? Like, you could quit your job now and have all this free money.
I just pictured like door to door people going around like, excuse me, do you have a minute to talk about the credit card trick?
I will do that.
That's the kind of evangelist I can get behind.
I think we should do it. I think we should actually start doing that. Go door to door and preaching the good news of the credit card.
Oh man. So yeah, what did we miss? I feel like there's got to be like a whole other just broad category we didn't even think of.
Oh, dude, holy crap.
What?
You should make sure you believe things with no reason to believe them whatsoever.
Oh, of course.
And if you decide to believe in a religion, you need to make sure that you use that religion as an excuse to be as unpleasant and intolerant as humanly possible.
Well, yeah, that's the big thing is, I mean, kind of just going along with what you were saying, critical thinking is just right out the board. You do not
exactly just go with whatever anybody says. Like if you decide that you want to practice a religion, only listen to other people's ideas and other people's interpretations of that. Like actually, if you're religious, never open the text that your religious beliefs are based on. Like never read it.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Listen to other people read it, but never ever go someplace where people are not taking that text out of context.
Mm-hmm.
You only want individual, like 2-3 sentences max.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to cherry pick small parts of it and use those to confirm your beliefs that you already like. If you hate gay people, you just find a reason in your text to really back that hate up without, you don't want to read the rest of the book or anything. It's just,
or even just take a part that doesn't confirm that at all and just say that it does.
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Yep. God, this is.
Yeah, and make sure that you always believe that what you think is always better and more correct than what anyone else thinks.
Well, yeah, it is. Just know that it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people will try to call you a bigot, but fuck them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What they think is wrong because it's different than what you think.
Correct. Yeah. That's one of the biggest things is just like make sure you step away from the critical thinking, the considering others' opinions or thoughts. That's going to lead you down a path you don't want to go down.
Just be as reactive as possible. Just do whatever happens instinctively and naturally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And never ever look back on any situation and figure out if you could have handled it better. Ever. If you make mistakes, just keep making them. There's no need to learn from it at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, like we discussed earlier, learning is not something you want to do whatsoever in any capacity.
You can use your past mistakes. The only thing that you're allowed to learn from them is how to fuck up more next time.
Ooh, that's a good point. Yeah, you can find missed opportunities within those mistakes. The mistake could have been bigger. Yeah.
Only learn how to make worse decisions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Big Dog. Yeah, we're trying to I think we're trying to teach people how to kill themselves.
Oh, also on the subject of critical thinking, if anyone disagrees with you, just call them names.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Like you because if you try to explain it, then you might accidentally start to think a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
So just call them whatever name you can think of.
Yeah, trying to combat their ideas with other ideas is not the way you want to do this.
Yeah, you want to come at the person and never the idea.
Mm-hmm. True.
That's just bad philosophy.
Well, we're getting near about the time where we need to wrap up. I can't think of any other ways to really mess up. Where are my notes here? Don't take notes. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I don't know what I have this shit for. Yeah, don't take notes for anything. Like that kind of goes into the critical thinking window.
I mean, notes. Ugh, gross. Who does that? Not someone who's trying to mess up their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, also we forgot. Whenever you tell someone to do something, always do the opposite.
Hold on. Does that apply to this? Are we supposed to do the opposite of everything that we've been saying? What do you mean?
Oh, that was honest to God, not rehearsed. I was trying to tell people to be hypocrites.
Yeah, but that is actually, kind of what we want to say, right? Is literally
that's where we're going. So, can we break character now?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Ready. God, that was exhausting. So, as you can all tell, this was. So I'll take the blame. This was my idea.
It did. Yeah.
Ty did agree to it. Ty agreed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we do here is all of the things that we do. Like we're talking about how to be better, how to be more responsible for like our decisions and be better people. So I just thought it would be funny to just do one on like how to screw everything up.
Mm-hmm.
So then like at the end we could come clean and make sure the audience understands the true purpose.
Yeah. Which I do think, honestly, like I'm going to listen back to this and try to learn from it as like literally a list of things not to do. I think we touched on a lot of things that is just really don't do that shit.
I'm going to listen to this and be ashamed.
Yeah. I'm gonna watch back through and just look for opportunities to clip completely out of context and be like, yeah, that looks horrible. I that is a short 30-second video of me saying that. Ugh, yikes.
Like I'm amazed at how effortlessly the bad ideas came out of our mouths. We're pretty good actors, I think. There's a couple of times where like I think each of us kind of like laughed, but because it's just some of it's just so ridiculous.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're hoping that, in addition to helping ourselves, that we can also help you to know exactly what not to do. Because I think if you do the exact opposite of everything we just said, you'll be doing okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think is that the final word you want to have? Do you got anything else you'd like to say? Because I think that is a very good point.
No, I think that's it.
Good. Yeah. Do the opposite of everything you just heard us say for the past hour, and that's good advice. So yeah, we've reached the end of another episode of the Metacast podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube and you've enjoyed the conversation, hit that like button, maybe subscribe, and comment below and tell us any bad advice that we missed. Can you think of another way to screw your life up pretty royally? If you're interested in further taking part in the conversation or even possibly joining us as a future guest, you can join our Discord. The link is in the description down below. Don't forget to join us next week for another episode, of course, live Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for listening, and have a great week. Get out there and go fuck your lives up.